Welcome back to the show, everyone. Here to talk about STEM therapy. It's been a sort of a buzzword going around for the last few years, but we're going to get to the bottom of it with Dr. Goswami. You have a clinic in Newport Beach.
Yes.
Right? The Goswami Clinic. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back. You've been here once.
Yes.
We had a great conversation. And I love that you're able to just sort of filter out through all the noise and tell us exactly what stem cells are and why we need them.
Yes, absolutely.
Start with that.
So, obviously with anything new, especially in our society, sometimes people don't understand what the concept is because there's so much of marketing and there's so much of hype around it.
Yes.
But stem cell therapy, I feel, is another tool in our box, just like we had surgery and medications. Mm-hmm. And stem cells are these tiny seeds that literally run our life. They're constantly repairing damage. They're constantly growing new cells, And so these are seeds that are embedded in every single tissue of our body, whether it's our brain, whether it's our eyes, whether it is. And so the concept is to use that power of stem cells to help with certain conditions where the damage is such that the local cells are not able to heal. So in essence, that it is. And then also stem cells have tremendous power to differentiate into different kinds of cells also. And that is what makes them unique compared to the other cells in our body.
So it's almost like they're the backup generator.
Absolutely, yes.
They go in and provide the power when there is
power is needed.
Yes, interesting. Science is fascinating, isn't it? Like I can't even imagine how tiny these little seeds are, as you call them.
Extremely tiny.
And how they can differentiate a stem cell from a regular cell.
Correct.
Like, who found that out?
That's the power of nature. But on a chemical level, these cells send out different signals compared to regular cells. So even the regular cells are aware of. In fact, I tell patients the reason we have cancer is because our cells are constantly multiplying, regenerating, and repairing. And when something goes wrong, what is a cancer cell? It's just an abnormal growth of cells. Right? So when the stem cell, in fact, most of the future cancer research is focused on cancer stem cells because what happens is stem cells make cells, correct? That's their job. They're constantly regenerating and repairing cells. And for them to make abnormal cells, it's the stem cell that gets affected. So far, we've focused with radiation, chemotherapy, and surgery on just debulking the tumor.
Right.
That's why a patient needs to come every few months and get repeat imaging to see if the tumor stays shrunk.
Right.
But we're not eliminating the disease from the root.
Right.
Once we start having treatments that are directed towards cancer-producing stem cells, then we will really be removing that disease for good.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the research is right now happening in the world of cancer and oncology.
Do you think they'll get there, Doctor?
Absolutely, yeah. In breast cancer, they're very close to getting it there. There's a lot of research at University of Michigan, which is happening on directing therapies towards cancer stem cells, because stem cells are the seeds. So if stem cells produce regular cells, for a cancer to develop, the disease process starts in the stem cell. The stem cell has gone rogue, and that's why now it's producing cancer. So that will really be a huge leap.
So there was a point in time when science and medical thought that cancer developed from the normal cells, right?
Correct.
And so now they've found that is maybe not necessarily the case.
Correct.
Starts from the stem cell.
Yes, the stem cell has gone abnormal and it's producing abnormal cells. Normal stem cells produce normal cells. Cancer stem cells produce cancer cells.
Is that an environmental factor?
There are a lot of influences, obviously. First of all, there's a genetic basis, as to why somebody at 27 years of age is going to develop a colon cancer. or for that matter, breast cancer. And so there's a genetic influence, there's environmental influence, and there are lifestyle influences also. So if you have an abnormal gene, then the environment or your lifestyle can trigger that to make that happen.
Right, right. So there's different sources of stem cells available for clinical use.
Yes, so right now where we are with stem cells, we can certainly harvest. We just got done talking about how our body is full of stem cells. So we can certainly harvest stem cells from our own body and use methods to concentrate those stem cells. Those typically come from bone marrow and fat. Fat is an excellent source of
Really?
stem
So
cells.
fat's good for something.
Absolutely. So who would have thought, right? So everybody is willing to give some fat. So that can work as a source of your own stem cells. It does require a harvesting procedure. And then there are stem cells from donated umbilical cord tissue. So with the newborn baby, the baby is not being sacrificed or harmed in any way, but the umbilical cord, that's the cord that attaches the mother and the baby, is also full of stem cells. So there are companies that collect those cord tissue and then they clear them out and they concentrate the stem cells and then those are sold. But those typically, obviously, is a foreign source. It's coming from another individual, but you can get those.
So why wouldn't we keep our own umbilical cord in storage for our later years when we actually need the stem cells from it?
Yeah, so very good question, because cord banking industry or cord blood banking industry has been out there for almost 30 plus years now.
Has it really?
They've been collecting cord blood, but the problem is that blood is usually a poor source of stem cells. So actual umbilical cord tissue, because I have a lot of parents who call the clinic or come in for consultation, and they're wondering whether they can use those stem cells for either their own child or even for themselves. But currently, because those sources are so poor, you're not going to get enough stem cells out of them. We do encourage them to talk to their bank and see what they can give us. We're happy to use if that's a good source for them. But it hasn't really panned out the way it should have. But going forward, we also do adult stem cell banking. So just like I mentioned, we can remove your fat for pulling your own stem cells out. You can actually bank your fat also.
And Doctor, so how much fat do you need in order to get enough stem cells to make a difference in the condition that you're trying to treat?
It does depend upon the condition we're trying to treat. So in the same day, same sitting, I usually target for, say, I'm treating a joint, a knee joint, a shoulder, or spine. So we're targeting on getting good about 100, 150 cc's, so about 3 to 5 ounces of fat. But if you're banking your fat, the beauty there is we just need an ounce of fat to bank, 20 cc's, 30 cc's, and then we can multiply those, your own stem cells, into millions and billions of cells, not only for one treatment, but even for future treatment. So I don't think we need to think that, I didn't bank my umbilical cord, because 30 years of something staying in a freezer it's hard to know what that ability.
You might get freezer burn.
Correct. But you can certainly bank your own fat even today, and that's allowed in the United States.
So what other conditions are stem cells used to treat?
So right now, mostly orthopedic conditions, knees, shoulders, any joint, any muscle injury, hamstring injuries, any muscle injury, spine. We've been getting very good results in spine also. And because, just to get a little bit technical, the cells we get from bone marrow and from fat are called MSCs. So there are a particular kind of stem cells called mesenchymal stem cells, MSC. And mesenchymal stem cells are which form our orthopedic system in the first place. So there's an exact match of the stem cells. Whereas for certain other conditions like Parkinson's or MS or Alzheimer's, we're still doing some research into what exact stem cells we'll need. We can still use MSCs in those conditions to kind of tone down the symptoms, but there's no cure. But in orthopedics, if we apply the stem cells properly in enough dose, then we can really heal the condition without the need for surgery or joint replacement.
So you are injecting those stem cells back into the body at the place
where help is needed. Yeah.
Right, right. Interesting. And then what prevents those stem cells from dying off or conversely becoming very healthy?
Very good. So the stem cells that we inject are basically doing a job of reinforcing the local stem cells. So what happens is when you have an inflammation or an injury, the local stem cells stop working and they're not able to heal the joint or whatever the condition is. And reinforced stem cells, the extra stem cells that we put into those areas, actually help clean out the inflammation, and then they leave. They're not going to be staying there forever. That is your body's ability to heal. So all we're doing is we're helping the nature, what it's already doing 24/7 by reinforcing with additional stem cells.
So if our body is full of stem cells, then why do we need stem cell therapy?
Right. Because if the condition is gone, stem cells on a daily basis are first of all repairing, right? You know, your first ankle sprain, it healed itself. You gave it rest. Injuries, we cut our finger, our skin, it heals itself, right? Even, in fact, stem cells is what it heals even after you've had surgery. You know, who's building the scar tissues? The stem cells are doing the healing.
So the army comes in and gets to work.
Correct. But what happens is when the damage has gone over a tipping point, you know, so that's why chronic conditions, you know, where there is degenerative arthritis, where there's other kinds of inflammation, then the local stem cells find it difficult to do the repair process. And that's when we reinforce with, you know, external stem cells.
Wonderful. Wow. You're a wealth of information, Dr.
Yes.
Goswami, pioneer of regenerative cell therapy in Newport Beach.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks.
You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.